Dr. Singer. Did you pick this song? One of my favorites, absolutely. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on the everlasting arms. Let's get some lights on. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms. I can hear you, Dr. Singer, I can hear you. Safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on the everlasting arms. Yeah. Well, welcome to another premiere. And this is an unboxing for my friend Sibel Gill out of the great state of New York. And she purchased something on eBay, and it was shipped directly to the workshop, as I've encouraged many of you to do. If you buy something on eBay, if you buy something on Etsy, don't have them ship it to you and just hope that everything's going to be okay. Have them ship it to the workshop, and then I can go over it, make sure it's good to go. And you can also witness an unboxing on video as well, in case the machine arrives damaged. And when this particular box was dropped off to the workshop by my local postal carrier, she walked up right away, and I could see on her face something was wrong. And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "It sounds like something's busted inside of this box." She said, "I've already marked it as damaged. It'll be on record as damaged. And that way you'll be able to let that individual know that we even recognized on the postal side that there's something not right." So we're going to open this up and keep our fingers and toes crossed, but I've already let Sibel know out in New York that it's not looking really good. And one of my friends in the workshop that always is kind of behind the scenes, and she doesn't have a name, is this beautiful grandmotherly lady that happens to be fixing the britches of this little lad who constantly is ripping his britches out. And of course our friends, the Singer repair guy and Dr. Singer, are kind of in the wings looking on like, she warned him, if you tear your pants one more time, I'm going to sew them with them on. Yeah, I hope she's got a real accurate line of stitching. Yes, I do. So also Dr. Singer and the Singer repair guy are also telling you that this machine that Sibel from the great state of New York bought on eBay is in all likelihood going to be a Singer, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. We're going to have to kind of dig into this, and hopefully we have one machine and not a lot of pieces, because there's a horrible rattling sound in this right now. So let's get busy and see what we find. So that first song you heard obviously was Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. The one that's playing right now is called Morning Dove. And I found out a new setup on this YouTube thing where you can play a string of songs all at the same time, so I don't need to keep jumping in. I'll just have to keep up to speed and naming what they are if I can do that. So this next one is another great hymn. It's called In the Sweet By and By. let's ring the bell and get this class officially started for this unboxing. All right, Dr. Singer and Singer Repair Gentlemen, I'm going to move you to the side. Yes, I'm going to move you back over by the fireplace so you're extra warm. Ma'am, it looks like you're doing a good job there. He's not looking too happy though, is he? I think he might get the message this time to be a little bit more careful when he's playing. Yeah. All right, let me get a couple more lights on. All right, so once again, this particular box, and I won't try naming these as they go, I'll just name them all at the end. But this particular box came from, I believe it was Arkansas. Yep, Little Rock, Arkansas. And the concern about this box, I mean, you can just see straight away, it's about as spongy as I've seen one of these corrugated boxes. And I'm going to stop our music just for a sec. Stop our music just for a little bit and see if we can, because my local mail carrier, this thing is determined to just keep on going here. I may not like this new mode. So my local carrier, right away when she walked up with it, you can see here we got just a lot of, I mean, I'm fairly strong, but daggone it, that should not be doing that when you've got something fragile inside. And you'll notice as well that this particular seller on eBay did not put any fragile stickers on here that I can see. They use their fancy prime, whatever you call that, tape around here to kind of seal off the box. But it's making me real nervous. Now let's see if we can listen, see if we can hear what the postal worker heard. Hold on a second. Can you hear all that in there? It's not supposed to sound like that, folks. Like I said, whenever we're packing something, whether we're packing it to go only a short distance, or whether we're packing it to go around the world, we pack it for the worst case scenario. We always hope for the best, but we plan for the worst. And this particular eBay seller, gentleman's name is Matt Savage from Little Rock, Arkansas. So if you're ever on eBay and you see a sewing machine or some other item and you click on the information and it's a Matt Savage from Little Rock, Arkansas, I'm not going to tell you not to buy from him because this may be his livelihood, but I would definitely encourage you to reach out to Matt Savage before you make that purchase and say, if I buy this, it needs to be packed a lot better than the way you packed Sibel gills that you shipped to the workshop in O'Connell, Wisconsin. Because this one right here, I'm a little bit nervous about what we're going to find, but it is what it is. We can't change it now. And hopefully, if I believe that Sibel will probably share this link with Matt, hopefully he gets the message. Because he might be the nicest guy and he might just not have a clue when it comes to packing. Because I didn't pull up his profile. I don't know if he's an experienced seller or an inexperienced seller. But way back in the day when I used to sell sewing machines on eBay, the feedback that I got all the time, number one, they loved my machines. No surprise there. But they were just in awe of the way that I packed those treasures. And that's why, instead of keeping those packing videos to myself and kind of just, you know, coveting, in a sense, that knowledge, I've shared it with the world. And I've had numerous people reach out from all over the place saying, I've applied your packing principles, Scott, and I get positive feedback. I get praise. I mean, there's one lady that wants to do a parade for me because she was so happy with the way that I packed. And I almost said to her, well, I can't take credit for that. It's this guy in Wisconsin. But I have to confess to you that I took credit for it. And you know what? That's okay. That was my friend over in Minnesota. That's okay. Once you share an idea with the world, it belongs to everybody. And as long as it protects our treasures better than this, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with standing in the shadows and listening to them clap for you. That's okay, as long as our treasures get to point A to point B without whatever's happening inside of this box. And again, I'm just hoping somehow, some way, that things are going to be okay, but it doesn't sound good from the outside, does it? No, not even close. All right, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to turn it on the side because it looks like this is the way I need to open it right here. Now, Matt Savage, let me talk to you man to man for a second here, okay? When, number one, you used a crummy box, my friend. You used a crummy box. I don't know what this box was designed for originally, but it sure is not designed for shipping a sewing machine, vintage or otherwise. Secondly, when you pack your next sewing machine, if you pack another sewing machine, when a box is rocked from side to side, those contents should not be swaggering from side to side, banging against the edges of the box, banging against the metal floor of that USPS truck, banging against the cement floors inside of those USPS buildings. This is not the way to pack a sewing machine, Matt Savage from the great state of Arkansas. Message delivered, and I hope message received. Good gravy. This has to hit the top 5. This has to hit the top 5 as far as the... Oh my goodness. Look at, y'all look at this from the side here. Can you see that? I'm going to hold the box, just not to prove that I'm a strong guy. I don't need to do that. But I'm going to hold the box with one hand on top here. I'm going to put one finger. You know what? I'm not even going to use my pointing finger. I'm going to use my pinky. Okay? I'm going to use my pinky and give you an idea of how crummy this box is. Check this out. Okay? That's with my pinky. And yeah, it's not supposed to be like that. And I can see we're only looking at the edge here. Let me zoom in on this. Even before we open this box from Matt Savage from the great state of Arkansas. Can y'all see what I'm seeing? It's a big old crack in what I assume is probably a caddy for the machine, or it might be, I hope it's not the extension bed if it has an extension bed. And I can give you another clue. I showed you Dr. Singer, I showed you the Singer Repairman, so you know it's going to be a Singer type machine. I can also tell you it's not going to be vintage. And I'm not sure, I didn't talk with Sibel from the great state of New York as to what caught her eye about this machine. You know, what was the attraction? Because the other machine that she sent to the workshop and packed herself, and I haven't done an unboxing yet on that, but I can tell you it is 180 degrees from what you're seeing with, good gravy, look at that. From what you're seeing with Matt Savage's packing job for this machine that our friend Sibel Gill purchased on eBay from the great state of New York. So I can already say with certainty we've got damage. And we just have to find out how extensive that damage is now, okay? And I've said this before, I like to be kind, but I'm also straight when it comes to being direct, being, as Sonny said, I think in one of the premieres, Scott, you're more than fair, but you're also firm. And so I'm going to be fair and firm here and just saying this is not the way to pack anything. If you decide as a joke to ship me a box full of toilet paper or paper towel or Q-tips or whatever you decided to do for kicks and giggles, I have no doubt that you would pack better than Matt Savage did from the great state of Arkansas with Sibel's machine that she purchased on eBay. Yeah, wow. Okay, let's jump into another song. This next one is called The Colonial. The Colonial. Yeah, I still have that little delay thing going, so it may take a little bit for this thing to kick in, but we'll just kind of be patient. There it is. That wasn't too bad. All right, let's see what we have and how many pieces. And again, if you're brand new to this channel, if you're using an X-Acto knife similar to this, just set the height of that blade so you don't cut too deep. So I'm going to set it right about there. And then if yours is like this, you just screw this in and it locks it in place so it doesn't cut any deeper. Because we don't want to damage what probably is already a damaged machine. All right, let me come off the tripod, show you what my first impression is as we look inside of this box. Because I can tell you my first impression is not good. Just look at the side of that box bulging out. It's just crazy. So this is the machine right here. Now the average person, and maybe I'm not average, maybe I'm above average, or maybe I'm, maybe I'm something else. But when you look at a box like this where you got the label, you've got some other sort of label thing here. This is taped off with Amazon Prime tape. This would signify to me that this is probably going to be the top of the box. Maybe I'm just goofy, but it seems to me that this would be, as you're looking at this package, it's reasonable to assume that that's the top of the box, right? I mean, if you think I'm wrong, type it in the chat. If you think I'm just totally off kilter. But everything I'm looking at this, the way it's presenting, yeah, I mean, to me, this is the way most people would probably open this container. Open this this package, just like I did. So to open it up, and the first thing you see is the machine upside down in the box. And I think actually calling this a box is being a little bit generous, to be honest with you. But the first thing we see is an upside down sewing machine. And again, this is not going to be a vintage machine. This is going to be a much newer machine. So let's take a closer look at what we kind of looked at from the outside right over here. The crack starts right there, goes across, more cracking there. And that is the extension bed. That is the extension bed that's damaged. All right, let's see if we can get this out of the box and see what else we find, okay? I'm gonna go back up on the tripod so I can free up my hands. I better shut off my phone and my, I think I already shut my air compressor off. I'm also raising the height of this a little bit so y'all can look kind of down into the box with me. And what I'm going to do, because I can see that there's little or no padding on the inside on the front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the edges, open this up just like a sandwich basically, and that way we can kind of slide this out a little bit easier. And I'll set my blade fairly short again, just deep enough that I can cut through this very, very poorly corrugated box. Probably don't even need to cut it. Probably could just rip it. This is just blowing my mind, quite honestly, that someone could be that clueless. And you know what? I want to be kind, but I'm really kind of running thin on kindness right now as I look at the way that this machine was packed. So we have the extent of our packing material is this. This is it. We've got 3 pieces of paper. I think there might be one more piece of paper in there. We have 4 pieces of paper, and that is the packing material that our friend Matt Savage from the great state of Arkansas used to safeguard Sibel's sewing machine that she bought on eBay. And I have no idea what Sibel paid for this, but I'm guessing that she is going to be entitled to all but a free refund. A full refund is what I meant to say. I meant to say a free sewing machine. And I'm going to see, and I'm going to give her honest feedback. You know, when I look at a machine like this that's been so poorly packed, I'm going to step out of the way so y'all can look. When I look at a machine that's been packed like this with such disregard for the fact that it's a fragile item, it doesn't matter if it's vintage or not, it's a sewing machine, for goodness sakes. And this one is primarily plastic. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at a plastic machine and say, okay, I'm going to ship it from Arkansas to Wisconsin, and I should probably do a little bit more than 4 pieces of paper that aren't even anchored to the body of the machine. They're just stuffed in there like an afterthought. Can y'all tell I'm a little bit upset? Yeah, I am. If you think, you know what? If y'all think that I'm justifiably upset on behalf of our friend Sibel from the great state of New York, type something in the chat so that I know that I'm not just overreacting, so that I know that I'm not being unfair to this Matt Savage in Arkansas, would you? I don't even know where to start. I'll tell you where I'm going to start. I'm going to come off the tripod again so y'all don't have to look at it from so far away, although it's probably less painful to look at it from so far away. So when you look inside of this box, you can just get a picture of what its journey was like. these are parts of the machine that are digging into this incredibly poor box as it's being smashed around from Arkansas to Wisconsin. The side of the machine has been busted off as well. This is a side cover that covers the belt, the balance wheel, etc. You can see right there it's actually snapped off. Can't show you that side because I think that has the model number, doesn't it? Let me check. No, it doesn't. That's not the model number. Not based on what Sibel sent me. So I'm going to set, as we find parts or pieces, I'm just going to set them over here to the side. You can see the broken, look real close on that edge right there. Let me come in on this. That's snapped off as well. Oh. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not totally off base here, but if you think that the damage that we've already seen was preventable, type something in the chat to indicate that, would you? Right here on the front of the housing as well, see the crack down there? This is a fun song. I'm really glad for the timing of this. It makes me feel a little bit better. Now, we don't have a center knob on here, but maybe there was not a center knob. I never saw the eBay pictures. Okay, this almost has kind of a French feeling, this song, doesn't it? To me it does, I don't know. This is called Ratatouille's Kitchen or something like that, yeah. Okay, give Matt Savage a letter grade, would you? From what you've seen so far, give Matt Savage a letter grade on his packing job. Yeah, do that, would you please? Thanks. I know what my letter grade would be. Yeah. Oh, my tripod is really crooked. That must have been that was a result of when I took the tripod down and everything to go to the History Museum. So if y'all have been looking and kind of like feeling like you're tilting over, it's my fault. This is a fun song. I like this a lot. Oh, that was fun. I totally felt like I was in France, sitting out on a, out on a balcony or something like that, dining, you know, at a table, you know, in the French cuisine and all. Yeah, I was there. I was there, folks, totally. Has anyone, I've been to France. I've been to France. I visited the Eiffel Tower, the whole deal. Has anyone else been to France? Type it in the chat if you've been to France, because that last song we just heard totally made me think of France. And if you haven't been to France, is it on your bucket list? Type in the chat, would you? All right, I'm going to carefully try to lift this machine out of here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Matt Savage. You ever heard the saying, and I think my friend Sonny and Craig are really going to like this. The saying that some people should not be allowed to own pets because they just don't have a clue, or they're just cruel to their pets and they shouldn't deserve, you know, to own a pet. Some people should not be allowed to ship sewing machines. There should be a law. I think we should all lobby Congress and say there should be a law that certain people should not be allowed to ship a sewing machine. Yeah. So I'm not looking at the chat. I didn't know what letter grades you gave Matt. But I'll tell you one thing, my letter grade, yeah, it was not up there, not up there. So let's look in the bottom of the box and see what we have. So we have a spool pin. We have a spool pin right here that's been snapped off of the machine. Sibel, I know this has to be difficult for you to see, but you gave me your blessing to document this unboxing on video. So here it is. Snapped right off of the machine because the packing was so poor. There's that other piece of that plastic. I think it's for the raceway area. The front of it to cover the bobbin, part of the bobbin case cover. More plastic pieces broken off of the machine. Another piece snapped off. I know you're upset, Dr. Singer. It's not a vintage machine by definition, but the sheer neglect and carelessness of this gentleman is beyond words. I don't even have words to describe. This is also busted as well. This is going to be your clutch release. You can look on the inside of there on top and you can see it's been snapped. See the crack there as well? And this is going to be part of the housing that supports and anchors the motor. Right there. Oh my gosh. That's where our spool pin was originally. This is sickening, truthfully. This is absolutely sickening. That's not supposed to be like that. That mounting screw has become dislodged and is now basically poking out the back side of the machine. Oh, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. That's actually a control on the machine. Oops, I just lost it. It just fell inside. There was a plastic control anchor to that in some way, and that was snapped off as well. Yeah, so that's I'd have to. I'm not familiar with this particular model, so I'd have to look and dig a little bit to find out what that particular control was for. But that's also, it's amazing this handle wasn't snapped off too. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, see, as it stands, because this clutch release has been basically destroyed on the end, the machine is not engaged right now to allow that main shaft to drive the machine. No needle movement. So about the only thing that this machine will do as it stands is it might wind a bobbin. Of course, we have no place to put the spool of thread because it's been snapped off. And just with the overall condition of this machine after being shipped from Arkansas and so poorly packed, I wonder, does anyone, if you were just to do a rough lookup, the distance from Little Rock, Arkansas to Oconto, Wisconsin, would somebody type in the chat how many miles that is? And I'll check it myself as well because I'm just curious. But again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to look at a plastic machine and know that it's going to need more than 4 pieces of paper, basically tissue paper, stuck in the box with it to arrive undamaged. I mean, am I way off on that? But someone type in the chat how many miles it is from Little Rock, Arkansas to Oconto, Wisconsin. Would you please? I'd just be curious. I would just be curious. And there's the damage trail right there, folks. I'm just going to open that top real quick and just take a peek inside. It should just come off straight away. Hearing plastic falling. So, I mean, this again is not by definition a vintage machine, but all in all, in this time frame for Singer, which probably would have been about the 1970s, there still was a lot of metal incorporated into the design of the machine. Plastic housing, obviously, but a metal, the metal innards, including that worm gear you can see right in there. Of course, this grease is way past its expiration date. Trying to see if that's also a crack on the front of there too. I think that's just part of the forming. It's hard to tell. This is kind of what I'm looking at right here. Well, I don't know if anyone has even tried to venture a guess as to what model this is, or I should say what model it was, because it is, you know, I'll be absolutely perfectly honest with Sibel at this point, that even if she got a real good deal on this machine on eBay, with all of this damage, and we don't even know, with all the banging around it got, what I'm going to discover once I'm able to actually repair or try to repair this clutch release on the end so that this main shaft will actually drive. Right now it won't. But I'm guessing that the repair costs and the parts to restore this machine is going to far exceed what the value of the machine is. So, based on what I'm seeing right now and over 2 decades of experience working with a lot of vintage machines, thousands, and working with a lot of newer machines as well that come into the workshop from quilters, some of those $14,000 and $16,000 quilting machines, the long arm ones, that Sibel should probably look for a full refund and not pursue repairs and restoration on this machine. It's going to far exceed the value of what the machine is. So it'll be up to her ultimately, but that's going to be kind of where I'm looking at it right now. I mean, all this alone is going to potentially add hundreds of dollars to a restoration of this type of machine. And plastic is trickier than a lot of people think to repair, especially depending on the type of polymer that they used on the machine. So this is probably one of the saddest unboxings that we've done for quite a while on this channel. So, all right, well, it's going to be tough for y'all to guess it, so I'm just going to tell you what Sibel told me this model was. This is a Singer 5830C, 5830C. If you want to Google it, it's a Singer 5830C. And again, Sibel Gill from the great state of New York bought this machine on eBay from Matt Savage from Little Rock, Arkansas. And Matt is not going to get high praises from me on his packing job. That's for sure. Well, Sibel, we can talk about this. And I have no doubt the other machine you sent to the workshop that you packed yourself, all that I can see from the outside, it's totally the opposite of what we're seeing here today for this Singer model 5830C. So there you go, another unboxing evidencing how, while a lot of people would just say, how hard can it be to pack a sewing machine? Really, how hard can it be? And do you really need to do all that stuff that guy from Wisconsin does? Well, if you take it lightheartedly and you just drop a machine into a box, especially a crummy, poor corrugated box like this, these are the results that you can expect. So I'm just curious because I'm not looking at the chat, seeing what the distance is. Hold on a second. Distance from Little Rock, Arkansas to Oconto, Wisconsin.
The drive from Little Rock to Oconto is 888.5 miles.
Okay, so y'all can look at this on the screen. 888.5 miles from Little Rock, Arkansas to Oconto, Wisconsin. 888.5 miles. And Matt Savage thoughtfully packed this machine like this. I mean, we're talking about almost 1,000 miles, right? I'm rounding it way up, but 888 miles and 4 pieces of slightly heavier than tissue paper to protect Sibel Gill's Singer machine that she bought on eBay in good faith. I don't even know what to say, y'all. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to ring the bell and call this class to a close. I don't know that I can catch up on all these songs that we played during this premiere, but I kind of typed in a country flavor. I was feeling kind of country-ish. The one right now is called Journey to the Past. Let me pause this real quick, because I do like to give you all the names, you know what I mean? So the one you just heard playing right there is Journey to the Past. I'm going to read them backwards, all the songs that we played during this premiere. Denver Avenue, Moonrise, Sky Map, Stinson, Communicator, Outlaws, Farewell, Pine Street. What else do we have? Yeah, I think, Climbing, Future King of Heaven. Yeah, and the rest of the ones I read you. So those are all the songs that played. I may not use this mode again because, you know, I like being able to control the songs and they don't just keep going and going and going, and you know. So, but at any rate, Sibel from the great state of New York, I am so sorry to report that the suspicions of the United States Postal Service, even before they handed the package over to me, and I know these postal workers, this is a small town, and to see the look on her face when she walked up with a package, and this postal carrier has brought a lot of packages to the workshop, to say the least, and I could see on her face, I could see in her eyes right away, something is not good. And as soon as she handed me the container, I could feel the sponginess of the cardboard, and I could hear the rattling inside. I totally understood why she was concerned. And she had already marked it damaged at that point. She didn't even wait to do it. She's like, I know it's damaged. I can hear what's happening inside of that box. So, Sibel, my recommendation is, and it's up to you, you're the boss, you're the owner, but my recommendation is to demand a full refund from Matt Savage out of the great state of Arkansas, and that we, because it will be cost prohibitive, that we not look at restoring this machine. I think it's just not going to make sense. If it were a much older vintage machine with a lot of steel, a lot of metal that you know, would have minimized the damage on it, it'd be another matter. But we've got a machine that has just been brutalized, and I think we should probably just let you cut your losses, get a full refund. If you want the machine shipped back to you, I can certainly do that for you. But I just don't. I just don't see this as a machine that can practically be saved at this point. If you tell me just hang on to the machine, I'm going to get a full refund, I will certainly hang on to this machine. I'll keep it in my reserve as a donor machine, so that God forbid we get another machine like this where the parts are interchangeable. Then we could always take from this machine that was so brutalized, I can't come up with a better word, and we can harvest those parts, and we can make that other machine whole again and give that other machine a second chance. Because I don't anticipate I'm going to get another one of these machines shipped to the workshop. It's not very likely, and so I would not have another machine like this that I could draw other parts from and try to bring this one back to working condition. So that's from my chair of almost 22 years of doing this. So it is what it is. I mean, this is where you get a seller that is, I don't know where Matt Savage got this machine, but he treated it maybe like a lot of the other items that he ships out, and dropped it in this box, from my standpoint, upside down, with 4 pieces of paper stuck in the box haphazardly, as the only protection, the only safeguarding for this machine, traveling 888 miles from Little Rock, Arkansas to Wisconsin at the workshop. So that's my response as far as my rating on this packing job. Yeah, it is. All right, let me ring the bell. And stay tuned for other premieres. Other premieres that also might be unboxings, where hopefully the outcome is better than today's. All right, y'all take care and be safe, okay? Yep, bye.